What is good, Neo family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only Nio stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow and break down what's going on with the Nio's earnings date because we're seeing so many different dates. Some sources are saying it's going to be reported tomorrow. I don't see what Nio is confirming just yet, so I want to actually talk about that as well, what the data is showing for Nio, and also what Nio put on their Twitter page, which is very important news. Now, before I break anything down, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. Not only benefits me, but benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. You sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account. You're guaranteed 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And you can always sell these 12 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some NIO shares for free. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just a week. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So when we look at NIO, this thing was up 3.17% for the day. Pretty green, pretty decent day, right? We finally got some relief that we were talking about. I did predict NIO would close above 18.5 for today. We did end up closing around there. So we did see a nice move to the upside, but the future is very, very unpredictable right now. And I want to talk about that. So overall, the volume of NIO was a little bit low, not the best that we've seen. And it's not the best of signs when we do see NIO seeing only 28 million in volume. And as far as the short volume percentage goes, right now it actually dropped a bit, showing that those with long positions have the edge. And looking at other historical data, we can see when it comes to earnings, NIO does have some issues kind of on its hand. That's because of the fact that we did see lots of lockdowns and things like that. But overall, that we're seeing lots of big improvements still. We do see this correlation between NIO and the SPY, and it tends to have a positive beta. So right now, this is what we're essentially seeing. But recently, as of recently, we've seen it becoming a little bit less volatile than usual. So what I'm essentially seeing is NIO following the market in a way. And if I go back, let me actually find my SPY chart. If we look at what the SPY is doing, there is a big change right over here. So the SPY is not holding up super, super well. We did actually have a slight green day, but you could see the SPY is just holding this range right here, and it's looking pretty bearish in my opinion. I see this thing descending all the way down to 409 relatively soon. Now, what does this mean for NIO going forward as well? We could see even more downside, but that's also dependent on whether or not earnings is actually tomorrow. And that's what I want to break down. So if earnings is off the table, for not worried about earnings and stuff, I think NIO could still actually have a slight red day for tomorrow. But if earnings is on the table, then yes, things could change. So when is earnings? I personally do not actually know because NIO hasn't confirmed it yet. And there are different sources just saying things all over the place. Some sources are saying it was supposed to happen today, hasn't happened yet. Other sources are saying it's going to be September 8th. That could be true. That's what Earnings Whisper was saying. Once again, I'm not entirely sure. But Seeking Alpha is now saying it's going to be on the 25th, which is tomorrow. So could that be the reason NIO pushed up today? I mean, it's very, very strange. It's just we're seeing dates all over the place. When it comes, it comes. And I think we should know the day before. I didn't actually see any reports about NIO having earnings for tomorrow. So I don't think it's actually happening tomorrow, even though Seeking Alpha and big sources are saying that. So like right here, they're saying it's going to be during the pre-markets tomorrow. So I'm not sure about this. I think it's very unlikely it actually happens that soon. But if that is the case, let's just say I'm wrong and we do see earnings come out of nowhere. Here's what I want you guys to know. I'm not expecting the best earnings for this quarter. It's going to be for Q2. You can see NIO sales were not the best in Q2, just like right over here. They did have a strong July, but the bigger months would be around May, April, and May. Right here, you could see not the best months right over here because we saw lots of big changes in the shutdowns in China. You could see right here, they had a 2-month shutdown due to the viruses and so on and so forth. It really affected them. They also had supply chain constraints. So many factors out there did affect their business model. And I do think they will affect their earnings as well. Now, looking at NIO, they do have great developments coming out for the long-term future. I do predict we will see profitability if things go as planned as soon as Q4, maybe going into next year. I really believe it's possible, but in my honest opinion, it's going to take a little bit more time for us to get there. Now, if you look at historical earnings, NIO actually missed their EPS by about 1 cent back in the beginning of the year for the first quarter. Second quarter, I wouldn't be surprised if they missed some of these estimates. So it's a loss of like 18 cents. That's the normalized EPS. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if they actually missed that through revenue. They could do okay on revenue since they did have a pretty decent end towards the end of that time frame. But other than that, it wasn't necessarily that great. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if they miss on both. And if that's the case, the share price could drop, just like how Xbox did just yesterday, I believe. So I hate to say this, guys. I hate to be as honest as possible, but if earnings truly come out tomorrow, which I'm not 100% sure they will, I actually doubt they do, even though some reports are saying that. If NIO misses, they'll most likely take a hit if that's the case. Now, even if earnings isn't tomorrow, if NIO just trades based off technicals, I could still see it actually coming down a little bit more because SPY is just not looking good, in my opinion. It made a nice move to about 415, but after that, it just kind of came down, barely closed green at 0.3%. And it looks pretty bearish over the next couple of days. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it around 409, maybe even the low 400s going into next week. It's going to drag NIO down with it, in my honest opinion. Now, if NIO has earnings, things don't go as planned. If the adjusted earnings are not met, I could see it coming down. As far as support and resistance goes, this is what I predicted yesterday. This is what ended up happening. We actually got a bigger push than I thought, and we actually held this range right here. So the close was very close to where I thought it would be. And what I anticipate for tomorrow is another push to the upside into open. Even if earnings like come out, they're not as strong, we could see a slight push up, but I do think there's going to be a big bleed off over time. So NIO could move like this, come back to like the 19s, then slowly get a rejection, come down, but I think it's not going to hold 18.75. If earnings were really good, this thing could just rocket all the way up to the 19s, maybe even 20. If they truly come out, which I don't really think they will. If they're bad earnings, it's going to come down. It's going to drop even harder, all the way down to the low 18s, maybe below that. Now, if earnings are not in the picture, how would this thing move? I would still see a move like this. We're seeing this pattern over and over again where we get a big push up followed by a bleed off. I think NIO is going to bleed into this 18.5 to 18.75 range for tomorrow. See some very boring price action like this and basically close kind of right around, I would say 18.6 or so. So I'm a little bit more bearish for tomorrow. It's not the end of the day. It's not the end of the world. Sorry. I'm still very optimistic for the long term of the company. So let's just wait and see what happens tomorrow. When NIO has its earnings, I'm not having the highest of expectations due to the external factors not in their control. But the bottom line is they're doing very, very well when it comes to their fundamentals. Their ET7 is just killing it. And I really believe as time goes on, they're going to do very well. They just need time, guys. So remain calm, cool, and collected. NIO is very strong fundamentally. And for the long-term future, I'm very, very bullish. With that said, thank you all for listening. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. NIO to the moon because the long-term future is bright, and peace out.